Did you know? While creating the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, the game's staff wondered how the player should acquire maps for each of the game's areas. They considered having the full map just appear as the player entered a new area, but ultimately they decided they wanted to try something new. In an interview with Kotaku, Zelda series producer DidYouKnowGaming explained, "So, we thought, what if you had to buy maps? Then suddenly we needed a character that you'd be buying maps from. What sort of person would sell a map? And we decided it'd be the kind of person who makes a map. And the way that he makes a map is by floating through the air so we can see the contours of the land and draw them." The team realized that anybody who'd fly around with a balloon and make maps would have to be a strange person, so they decided to make him a really weird guy. Aonuma also compared Tingle to Peter Pan, as both characters fly, wear green, and never want to grow up. Following his appearance as a map salesman in Majora's Mask and a small role in Oracle of Ages, Tingle's next appearance was in The Wind Waker, where he was a prisoner that Link had to set free. Beneath the jail is a tunnel where the player can find a picto box along with a message from the thief who originally stole it. This gave rise to some fan theories that Tingle was in prison because he was the one who stole the picto box. However, the Wii U remake of Wind Waker appears to contradict this theory. Zunari, the merchant who sells Link a sail for his boat, explains that he arrived on the island with another man who was arrested for his odd appearance. After Tingle is rescued, Zunari will offer the sail at a discounted price as a sign of gratitude for helping his friend. In the original version of Wind Waker, Tingle gives the player an item called the Tingle Tuner, which can be used by connecting a Game Boy Advance to the system. The tuner allows a second player to take on the role of Tingle, and assists player 1 by spending rupees on items and power-ups such as bombs, potions, and even levitation. By using the Tingle Tuner inside the Tower of the Gods, players can find a series of text entries that tell the legend of the fairy. The legend is a retelling of Tingle's role in Majora's Mask, describing how the Hero of Time was aided in his adventures by a 35-year-old fairy who gave him maps. The legend goes on to reveal that there's an island somewhere in the world where people celebrate their 35th birthday by dressing up in the same outfit as the Fairy of Legend. In Wind Waker HD, the Tingle Tuner was replaced with the Tingle Bottle, making the legend of the fairy inaccessible. Aside from his major appearances in the series, Tingle has also made cameos in several other Zelda games. In The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, an image of Tingle appears on a wanted poster, which can be seen on the back of Mercé Tavern. This same poster can also be seen inside Ferris's home in The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. There's also figurines of Tingle inside various shops and houses throughout Spirit Tracks, including a golden version in the trading post. Tingle also appears in Skyward Sword as a plush sitting on a desk in Zelda's bedroom. While Tingle himself doesn't show up in Twilight Princess, Aonuma also said that Perlo, the man who operates the Star game in the castle town, is basically what Tingle would look like if he were drawn in a realistic way. During the development of Hyrule Warriors, the game's developers considered adding Tingle as a playable character early on. Aonuma essentially shot their idea down and suggested they add a different character instead. However, Tingle would eventually find his way into the game as downloadable content. Tingle has also been the star of his own series of games, none of which made it to the United States. Tingle's Balloon Fight was released for the DS in 2007 as a Club Nintendo reward, exclusive to Japan. The game is essentially a remake of the original Balloon Fight, but with Tingle as the main character and a special gallery of unlockable artwork. A downloadable DSiWare app called the Too Much Tingle Pack was also released in 2009. Rather than being an actual game, the pack was a collection of smaller applications, including a timer, a calculator, a coin flipper, a marionette, and a fortune-telling minigame. The only Tingle game to be released outside of Japan was freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupeeland, a DS game released in Japan and Europe in 2007. In this game, the main character is an ordinary man who is given the title of Tingle by a magical being named Uncle Rupee, and he is tasked with collecting as many rupees as possible. In addition to functioning as currency to buy items and hire bodyguards, rupees also served as Tingle's health. Rosy Rupeeland was a stark departure from the rest of the Zelda series, featuring RPG-style gameplay, a surreal art style, as well as many bizarre and even suggestive elements. The game was generally well received by fans, and while it appears that a US release was at least considered at one point, it never came to be. This was due to what Nintendo saw as a severe dislike for Tingle among Western fans. According to Aonuma, the dislike of Tingle in the West is also the reason his character was absent from Twilight Princess. Rosy Rupeeland received a sequel in 2009 in the form of Irozuki Tincle no Koi no Balloon Trippu, which roughly translates as Ripened Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love. Unlike its predecessor, Balloon Trip of Love was a hybrid adventure game with dating sim elements. The game's story focuses on a man who buys a book that is claimed to make readers popular with women, only to find himself teleported into the book itself and forced to take on the role of Tingle. The only way for the man to return to his own world is to dance with the princess, and he's joined on his adventure by a scarecrow, a tin woman, and a lion as a homage to the Wizard of Oz. Along the way, Tingle also encounters several other women that he can romance through gifts, dialogue, and by going on dates. But sadly, Balloon Trip of Love was never released outside of Japan. Nintendo producer Kensuke Tanabe has said that he'd like to make another Tingle game. Rather than being discouraged by the character's unpopularity in the West, Tanabe sees it as a challenge to make people like Tingle. In an interview with VentureBeat, he elaborated, saying, "It's like love, it's like romance. You meet someone and you're like, oh god, I can't stand that person. And then 3 weeks later, you're madly in love. It's that turn, that quick whip that motivates a little bit." Did you know that Breath of the Wild planned to have a race of tiny people like the Minish Cap? For more Zelda facts, check out the DidYouKnowGaming video on the Minish Cap. And if you like this video, give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I'm SpaceHamster, you can find my channel over here. I did a video on Tingle's Rosy Rupeeland, so if you like my voice and you want to see more of that game, then go check out that video.